The story you're about to see concerns ethical responsibilities of engineers. It portrays many ethical issues, but places special emphasis on three. 1. Ethical considerations are an integral part of making engineering decisions. 2. Although legal requirements may vary among states and nations, ethical obligations do not stop at state or national borders. And 3. Wherever we practice, we should strive to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the public.
Can you state your name, please?
Yes, my name is Fred Martinez.
Are you the same Fred Martinez who, as the professional engineer, signed and sealed the construction drawings for the chemical production facilities in Morales, Nuevo León?
Yes, that's my signature.
And at the time you were employed by...
I was employed by Faust Chemicals, which was, is a division of the French company Chemistry.
Non. Non. Donc, nous construirons le plant au Mexique. Oui. La décision est définitive. Jack a tout sous contrôle. Bien. Au revoir. They're very pleased with your preliminary reports. They are on board with a budget for the plant site. They want us to find a use for the old plant site in Allentown, but that will have to wait.
I don't think we're going to get approval from Allentown, Dominique. I mean, the cost of refitting Allentown versus building from scratch in Mexico, the money was about the same.
They were hoping that you could do it for less in Mexico, but they're okay with the budget for now.
For now.
We may need to expedite the schedule depending on where Chemitoil is at with their new product.
I've got news on that.
Oh, yes?
Oh, it's okay. You finish, then I'll tell you.
Oh, that's all, really. What have you heard?
Wally interviewed about, must have been 20 candidates for the plant automation design engineer post. We're looking for a PE, someone with a wide range of skills.
Yeah?
Well, the last one was a real winner. Now that we got this budget approved, we need to offer this guy a contract.
What does that have to do with the new Chemitoil product?
He was a design engineer for a consulting company.
His client was Chemitoil?
He designed their plant. He designed exactly what we need to build.
But is that ethical?
He came to us. The lawyer says he has no contract as a freelancer. He has no non-compete clause. He's got no restrictions.
Oh, sometimes it is better not to know too much.
Well, I don't want to put you in a bind or anything, but do you want to know what he said?
The lawyers have reviewed his situation?
Yes.
Tell me.
Chemitoil wants their plant up and running in 6 months.
6 months?
Oui.
What was it that your plant would produce?
A new formulation of a paint stripper. Faust is an industry leader in chemical paint and varnish removal, but they needed to take their most profitable product, the old stripper, off the market in the U.S. because it contained chlorinated compounds.
The executive washrooms are down this way, but we'll probably use ones that are closer to us. Hey, what's up with the empty desks, Wally? Some kind of recent contraction? Yeah, contraction. This all used to be operations, but Chemistry moved that function and accounting to France last year. They left some of R&D, all of North American sales and marketing, legal, and, well, for now, engineering. We set you up down here. This is where we expect you to spend 80 hours a week, making our unrealistic goal of a brand new plant for a brand new product up and running in a year, a reality. Thanks. Your honesty really inspires me. Well, let me be more honest, Fred. I have one rule. It's that you need to tell me things first, not anybody else. I don't care if it's good news, bad news, or no news. I just need to know that I'm not going to get blindsided here, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Good. Chuck's going to have a project kickoff meeting this afternoon. Your plant design will be on the agenda. It'll be at 3. We don't waste time around here. We're fast at Faust. Corporate tagline. You might want to look at this. Tell me this is like what you were building at your last job. Hey, partner. You ready?
As much as you can be after 2 hours of reading those preliminary reports.
And what'd you think?
Well, they were kind of unfocused.
I'm not asking you for a writing critique. I want to know what you think about the process.
Oh, yeah, they were pretty straightforward.
And is it like what you were working on with Chemitoil?
Yeah, similar. Nothing that hasn't, really been done before.
People might want to know whether we're starting from scratch, or if your experience is going to help us get ahead. Some optimism.
Oh, I don't know, Wally. Every system is different, designed to do different things differently. They're just not off the shelf. You didn't write the preliminary.
No, Chuck did.
Chuck did what?
Fred here was just giving me a critique of your preliminary report.
You read that report over very carefully. Wally and I spent a lot of blood, sweat, and time thinking that one through. Got the Frenchman's approval.
And it's in your hands now.
Okay, Fred Martinez, everyone. We brought him on board to design the new automated plant.
The rumors that Fred traded the Chemitoil formula for this job are not true. That would be unethical. He was the best engineer for the job.
So with the last pieces of the puzzle in place, we thought it would be a good time to get everyone together, make sure we're all on the same page here. This is not about sales. It's not about marketing. It's not about R&D. It's not about engineering. This is about all of us working together like a team. Hal, tell us where the market's at.
He's not one of us. He's with product development, market research.
Chemitoil is on the verge, probably within the year, of releasing Easy Strip. It's a non-toxic paint remover that our market research says will carve out about 25% share in its first 18 months. There are a lot of competitors out there, but this one's poised to make a dent. Old Stripper is a lame duck product. If we want to preserve our franchise, we need a home run product.
Okay. We got a formula we're happy with, right?
See for yourself. Our new non-toxic formulation. Safer. Not a fire hazard, no known carcinogens, no landfill disposal issues. Raw materials are cheap. Minimal safety risk to the user. Goggles, gloves, the usual. It's a mild to moderate skin irritant.
It could work better. It is going to be compared to Old Stripper. And while consumers will accept a little less effectiveness in return for a safer product, the better it works, the more market share we can retain. It's that simple.
I'd like to do a head-to-head with Chemitoil. Sales has a shelf commitment from every major home retail outlet.
We've completed our focus tests, and we're in the process of finalizing our brand's qualities.
He's so full of it. You got a name yet, Hal?
Yeah, we did. Right up until this morning.
Stripped Easy.
Oh, please.
Research said that this was a great way to retain brand recognition and to ensure customer loyalty.
But it's back to the drawing board on that one. The lawyers say that's a no-go.
Good.
It seems that name is already in use by another product.
Another paint stripper?
A depilatory.
Oh, what?
It's a hair remover.
The lawyers are afraid that people will get our products confused and they use ours on our legs.
Ooh.
Hey, guys, let's let Hal worry about that, okay?
You know, new stripper. I like new stripper.
I'll put that on
Old
the short
stripper,
power strip.
new stripper.
I like power
Hey,
strip.
guys, let's let Hal worry about the name for the thing, okay? We need to figure out how to make it, and fast.
we done?
It hasn't even started. Just got back from the last-minute meeting at the Commerce Secretary's office. I think they know I'm here.
We've learned from our investigations into industrial accidents that many companies rush the planning process. Was that the case at Faust?
No, I don't believe so, Inspector.
How would you describe the decision-making process then?
Dynamic. We were reacting to market pressures. We were on a tight schedule. We were not fully confident in our product's formulation, but I felt our decision-making process was thorough, reasoned, and thoughtful.
What happened? Seems our French colleagues are doing some expansion through acquisition.
They've slashed budgets 20% company-wide to build up a war chest.
Well, this is going to put a crimp in things. We're going to have to put the plant on hold, I guess.
I don't think so.
Well, how can I build this plant for 20% less than budgeted? That's a mortal wound.
Fred, relax. We'll save your plant. Here, just sit back and watch the master work. Chuck's a genius at this.
Let's see. Last forecast, we were running about 12% below budget.
Does this kind of thing happen often?
What kind of thing?
Edicts from on high?
Well, yeah, and no.
Well, how can you plan for anything when budgets are slashed and schedules are cranked up?
You do the best you can. Sometimes you inflate budgets, and sometimes you build schedules with slack. That way, if something unexpected occurs, you're covered. We were running 10 to 12% under budget due to the dollar versus the peso, the lower than anticipated acquisition cost for the site in Mexico, and the savings on the wastewater treatment and other environmental controls. That's opposed to what we budgeted for Allentown. Fred, you'll have to cut costs on basic components. Have purchasing help you find some more Mexican suppliers. There's no need to buy American if the French want to save money. Use locals when you can.
How do you say cheaper in Spanish?
And let's think about shrinking the size of the plant by making smaller batches. If we can cut plant size 10, 15, 20%, we can save some real money there.
But then manufacturing's unit costs will go up.
That's an easy call for us to make, especially now. French, want to save money now? Let operations pick up the cost when we hand it over.
Yo, kid, go home.
Hey, Maria's out of town. I just thought I'd catch up. What are you doing here?
I forgot the digital camera. I'm on my way to Morales for a site visit.
Yeah, maybe I'll see you at the airport tomorrow.
Why, where you go? Oh, a plant tour.
Yeah.
You're going to like Pete. There isn't anything he doesn't know about building a chemical plant. He's built all of ours.
Hey, since I got you here, can I ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah, just make it quick. I've got the family in the car.
All right, grab a seat.
Yeah.
About the new pipe vendor.
Oh, excellent work with that.
Yeah, it was purchasing who discovered them. Does somebody from engineering normally do a site inspection of the plant the first time we use a new vendor?
No. Maybe. Well, I guess we should, huh?
Yeah, probably should. First-time supplier. The pipe and couplings and gasket flanges are going to be under a lot of stress with all the heating and cooling. I would like to know that they meet specs before we send them to the construction site.
Okay, where's the plant?
Little town outside Mexico City.
That's not convenient. No, let's push that off.
That won't give us a lot of time if we need to correct the problem or even find another vendor.
This is when this job gets fun. I mean, when the pressure's really on, the people start to feel the heat. Anybody can build these things with enough time and money. Next question.
In the original specs, all the control system modules were LUTs and LUTs.
Easy one. We've used L&L as long as I can remember. That way we know that everything works together.
But we're starting from scratch here.
Well, there's something to be said for familiarity within the organization.
Look, they are so expensive.
Well, they're made in Germany.
Switzerland.
What?
They are made in Switzerland.
Okay, Switzerland. But it's not like other foreign products. Look, kid, pick your fights when you can win them. This one, you're not going to win. Chuck's brother-in-law is the U.S. rep for L&L.
Hey, wait a
no.
minute.
I'm not saying there's any
not
shenanigans. It's not like it's a sweetheart deal. I'm saying Bert, the brother-in-law, gives us great prices and backs it up with solid support. And then you have the long-standing relationship
So
there.
pick my fights when I can win them, huh?
Exactly.
So, Fred, where'd you work before?
Oh, a couple of different places. But for the last couple of years before we moved, I'd been working for an old professor's consulting company.
Fred's the guy, well, you've heard the story, who Faust hired, who'd been working on the Chemitoil plant.
Oh, so you're that guy. Yeah, I heard that story. Friend of mine works at Chemitoil. Says all hell broke loose when you jumped ship. Heard you got a sweet deal, too.
No, I didn't. I didn't have a non-disclosure on that project. I needed the job Faust needed.
We're only as valuable as our experience. You got to do what you got to do.
Well, I'm glad we finally got you over for a tour. You know, your plant is going to run a lot like Jake's here.
Well, it's quite a complex you got going.
These guys do good work. They build them like you spec them.
How long did it take you to build this?
Once we got Peter and his group involved, about 14 months.
My plant's a lot smaller. And we're on an accelerated schedule.
But you still have to take time to plan it right. Now, when we built this plant, we had to use high-pressure alloy in all the pipes and connectors running to and from the mixing vessels.
Have you had any problems?
Not a one, not a drip, not a leak, not a run. Open and shut.
You can't afford alloys. Not on my project. Not with these budget cuts.
You can't afford not to. You have a blowout and you've got 1,000 gallons of superheated corrosive sludge spewing everywhere. It'd take a miracle not to kill an operator, and you're shut down.
Jake's probably got an opinion you don't hear much. You see, here, operations takes a hands-on role in design and construction. At Faust, you'll be making a lot of decisions for the operations group back in France.
The people you're building it for want something that works reliably with a minimum of downtime. Now, it might cost a little more up front, but the company reaps the benefits year after year after year.
Wow. This must have cost a pretty penny.
No, this is just the relay room. If you like this, I'll show you the control room later.
Yeah, what do you think about the L&L switches and controls?
Beautifully made.
Oh, they're the best. Elegant software, too.
Yeah, but they're so expensive. I mean, there are parts that do the same thing for $10.
Yeah, the lower cost controls are not an option for us. We're a Swiss-owned company. If the Swiss make it, we use it.
These expensive controls are well worth the money when you get into high-temperature, high-pressure situations. Those cheaper sensors and valves are nowhere near as reliable. And the software? Well, that cheap stuff is about as buggy as a New York City basement. Watch your step here, Fred.
And this is our $3 million monument to the U.S. EPA. They had us under their thumb. Would have been $5 million if they had their way.
My wife works for the EPA.
Oh, really? What does she do?
She's a compliance litigator.
So, what are your wastewater requirements in Mexico?
Well, right now we have two 300,000-gallon evaporation pond spec'd. We'll be putting about 1,000 gallons of a corrosive effluent into one pond and about 1,000 gallons of backwash water into another.
That's amazing. It sure is different a couple hundred miles away.
Hey, I don't waste any love on environmentalists, but can you say environmental catastrophe in Spanish?
Yeah. I'm winning. The byproducts are a stew of nasty stuff. You got heavy metals, toxic compounds.
Do you have to work with that?
Me? No. That's just what'll come out of the plant when it's up and running.
Well, how will they treat it?
No. You're a little out of your jurisdiction, don't you think, Counselor? The plant is in Mexico.
Oh, sounds to me like someone has something to hide.
No, we don't. We're following the regulations.
Oh.
You're going to need a subpoena to take a look at these, okay?
Okay. Consider yourself served. Well, let me guess. The regulations call for big, unlined evaporation ponds.
Oh, I should have never said anything.
Where all the toxic waste will leach into the groundwater.
Really, we shouldn't be talking about this. Seriously, Maria.
Honey, do you know where the locals get their water?
Do you know how frustrating it is to be a chemical engineer who's married to an environmentalist?
Fred! Promise me you'll line the ponds.
De los códigos de Monterrey. Las leyes son muy difíciles.
Night, Fred.
Oh,
You working on something?
just a couple of regulations I wanted to double check.
A lot of details when you build a plant, huh?
Yeah, an astounding number to keep straight.
Fred, are you struggling with your conscience over something?
No. No, not really. Just thinking about what's expected of me.
It's not just you, Fred. It's us. It's all of us. It's what's expected of all of us. You don't have to take the responsibility by yourself. So tell me, what's your concern? Concerns?
Well, primarily it's an environmental one.
Well, that's Larry's department. Let's call Larry. He'll take care of it.
I wanted to be prepared to understand the implications.
That's fair.
The wastewater and processed byproducts are toxic and dangerous. And the local government regulations are...
Are what? Too restrictive? Too vague? What?
Clearly inadequate. Sir, we have to be very careful not to poison people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I am going to set up a meeting with you and Larry and Wally, and we'll discuss this, and we will find a sensible solution.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Good man.
Come in. Shut the door. Don't sit. What's my one rule?
Tell you before I talk
So
about...
why am I being asked to bring you to a meeting with Chuck and Larry, the environmental guy? Why is this a surprise to me?
Well, last night, Chuck caught me in the library, looking over some ethics manuals. We got talking...
And this crisis of conscience is concerning what?
The effluents and byproducts, the evaporation ponds.
You are aware that the costs related to environmental controls are perhaps the largest single cost savings as compared to building this plant in the States.
Yes, but...
And you are aware that a directive was handed down by which we're supposed to cut costs 20%.
Yes.
Kid, this is a business. The heart and soul of a business is to turn a profit. When a business turns a profit, it can share that wealth with its employees in the form of bonuses, and this company's bonuses are based on performance. That's why you have a boss. I'm here to make sure that you don't mess things up by bringing in people that are 3 stages removed from what's going on and screw it up. Meeting's at 4.
Most environmental regulations here are similar to your own. Do you believe you gave these regulations enough attention?
Oh, I give it quite a bit of attention.
I'm an engineer myself, and one question always intrigues me. Can you ever look back and define the moment when the wrong path was taken? When the mistake was made?
Believe me, I've thought about that quite a bit.
Good move on getting people to agree to line those ponds.
Wasn't just me. Once the environmental guy saw the situation, he was right on it.
A lot of companies would have let it slide.
Yeah. Well, Wally wasn't too enthusiastic.
I'll bet he wasn't.
What do we need to do about the pipe vendor?
Well, the pipes are okay. They meet all the QC specs. It's these flanges and couplings that worry me. They are barely meeting the specs on the fatigue and brittleness test.
It's not like we're taxing them with high pressures and high temperatures for extended times.
No, but there is a lot of cycling. Heating, cooling. Now, I'm going to have to study this before I can sign off. You may have to use a stainless or a high-pressure alloy for these parts.
No, I can't afford that. And there are too many of them, and we don't have time. See, the issue really is how long will they last, not whether they're up to temperatures and pressures, right?
Yeah, but...
let's make it a maintenance issue, an operational responsibility. The couplings and flanges are cheap. They shouldn't be too hard to replace.
I don't know, Fred. Every time you add another reason to take a plant out of service or extend the maintenance schedule, it costs the company money.
I understand that, Pete. But that may be a trade-off we have to make. The French want to save money now. And operations will just have to deal with it when we sign it over.
One factor seems to surface with some regularity in these interviews. The process becomes overly reactive to the commercial challenges. Was there a time that issues in the marketplace took an overriding control? Did something like that occur here?
No, I don't believe so, Inspector. I can't believe that. What are you getting?
Kalamazoo, who was visiting his in-laws, helping to paint a house. He saw it in a paint store on a shelf at a display.
Probably some test marketing promotion chemicals, right?
Dominique, I didn't know you were in town.
I was in New York, and when Chuck called and told me the news yesterday, I simply had to come by and see for myself with my own eyes.
Dominique, this is Fred Martinez. Fred is our new automated process engineer.
Oh, the Chemitor guy. I've heard so many good things about you.
Nice to meet you, man.
Good work on identifying those less expensive controls, Fred. I saw that in the numbers that Chuck was showing me this morning.
Well, thank you.
What's the downside to these controls, Chuck? Why have we never spec'd them before?
I don't know. Fred, must be something they don't do as well.
Really, it's range. The sensors are very accurate, and the valve gates are very reliable as long as emulsion stays below 350 degrees and 200 psi. We've got plenty of overhead.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The competition. Easy strip.
Boy.
That's cute, but how does it work?
See for yourself. We followed the directions on each exactly, applied one coat. We compared them on the exact same old piece of mantle I'd been saving for this test.
This is a killer applicator. No mess, no fuss. We need something this sweet.
First, we need something that works this good.
We need to find out what's in this and how they make it. When can you get that for me?
How much do you have?
That can, one other?
I'll need more. As much as you can get.
Well, let's get someone down to Kalamazoo then. Buy all he can.
I can tell you now what they've probably done. They're probably using a more volatile solvent. That means higher temps and higher pressure in the mixing stage.
How much higher?
At least double.
Double?
Double. Double.
Good to see you.
Hey, nice place you got here.
Yeah, not much of a neighborhood unless you like rattlesnakes and scorpions, but yeah, we like it.
Pete's crew did a good job.
Yeah, he had an excellent plan to work from.
Now we just got to make it work.
I think I've got the problem isolated and a solution identified, but I want you to see for yourself.
Good. Chuck just got back from France breathing fire. They're on him about the delay and losing market share to Chemitor.
Manuel, the plant manager, is going to meet us in the lab.
Oh, good. Let's go.
This is what it should be like. Right consistency and perfect formulation. Too thick.
And this formulation is very weak. It barely takes dust off, much less any paint. This is too thin but highly caustic. It would burn a hole through a board. There's no consistency in the final product.
So Goldilocks, too thick, too thin, just right. What's causing it, guys?
Well, I think in the mixing chamber there's very little room for error.
And the formula in the mixing chamber needs to be a certain temperature and pressure, 450 and 300 psi. Too much heat, too much pressure, and it comes out too thick and weak.
And that's a function of?
Like, I spent 3 weeks trying to find a bug in the software, and then I realized it's a function of the controls and sensors. The temperatures and pressures at the far end of their range as far as accuracy.
The cheaper controls.
They were completely acceptable until R&D changed the formula.
And if we used L&L controls, we wouldn't have this problem.
No, we probably wouldn't.
Okay. So, how do we duplicate the one that's just right?
I babysat it. I monitored it from the room with the reactor vessel. I timed it on my watch. And I released it manually.
All right. Good. Hey, guys. What's this?
Looks like a little leakage.
How many batches you run through here?
About 30 test batches.
Yeah, that could be a function of the sensors, too. You know, letting it run too high pressure and too hot for too long. We knew the couplings and flanges were right on the borderline for brittleness. That's why they're scheduled for replacement at regular intervals.
Keep an eye on this. It's way too soon. You haven't run enough batches through here to start springing leaks yet.
Manuel, ¿sabes qué? Ayúdame con esto. Ve, dile a José que traiga su herramienta porque tenemos que revisar estos tornillos. Sí, por supuesto.
Well, this is what we're going to give operations when we hand over the plant. Everybody okay with it?
Fred's the guy that's got to put his name on it. Fred's got to be all right with it.
Well, the couplings still leak when the pressure's up.
And we've alerted operations and given them specific instructions on how to maintain the connections.
We've got Chen working on a lower temperature formula. That may make all of this smooth.
We haven't worked out the bugs on the last step of the automation.
And next year we'll retrofit the entire plant with L&L controls.
This is how it works. We design it. We build it. We hand it over. They run it. We've done the best we can. No plant, no process, no system is ever completely perfect.
You built a plant that's efficient. You got your upgrades to the wastewater treatment.
Yeah, you're right. For now, Manuel or one of his guys can use the manual release valve.
Okay, time to let those plant jockeys make new stripper.
Search him, guards. Make sure you didn't steal any proprietary secrets.
Hey, how else can I get a job? Your secrets are the most valuable thing I can take to any new employer.
Just a little present from us to you. Actually, we don't want your wife telling our new bosses in Washington any of our dirty little secrets. That's what.
Thanks, guys. It's been great working with you.
Vaya con Dios, amigo.
Chuck, phone call for you.
Take it in Fred's office. Yeah, Chuck here. Oh, my God. No. No.
Wally here. Who was killed? Manuel Ortega's dead. Yeah. Yeah, we'll be right there.
Martinez, I apologize for keeping you waiting, but we bureaucrats are servants of the people. When my boss called me this morning, I just couldn't say no. But please come in. I'm very anxious to hear your side of the story concerning that incident in Morales. Won't you come in, please?